What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a little bit of a look at a survey that Bandai have gone and asked us all to go and take a little bit of a look at. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, if we have a look through the survey, things start getting rather interesting. Now, a question I particularly enjoyed was, which illustrations do you prefer? Official illustrations from the anime, new illustrations from artists, or Kenji Watanabe illustrations from the Digimon reference book. Now, I know people tend to get very excited when Kenji Watanabe's art does appear in the TCG, but generally speaking, what Digimon have tended to do up till now has been having new artwork commissioned from artists. And as far as I'm concerned, this is an absolute no-brainer. And I know we've seen some promo cards which have used anime artwork. The ones that came in the Memorial Pack do use anime artwork, but generally speaking, I think new commissioned artwork is awesome. It's a lot cheaper and easier for Bandai to use recycled artwork, either from the anime or from the Digimon reference book. But I think Digimon TCG have been crushing it in terms of artwork, and I really, really hope they continue to do new artwork from commissioned artists. And what I would say is, anyone taking this survey, please tick that box, because that, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best things about Digimon at the moment. There is another interesting question about merchandise from the Digimon card game, and what it is that people would actually want. Now, as far as I'm concerned, accessories, plastic cards, t-shirts, collectible pins. Believe me, I could keep going. I love that they are essentially thinking about doing this, and this is clear, right? If Bandai are asking these questions, they are definitely thinking about doing this in the future, yeah? There's no reason they would put these questions on there unless they were thinking about it. But you know what? We need to make sure we answer this survey to tell them what we think. I want this merchandise, that's really quite clear. Now, I do find it interesting they are asking what kind of illustrations we are hoping to see, and frankly, I kind of love this. Now, I don't want the super deformed ones, if I'm honest with you. I am showing you my answers, by the way, as I show you these questions. I think that's kind of interesting. But I love that they're actually thinking about this and what kind of art they're doing. Now, there is a question about how easy the Digimon TCG is to collect, and this is very, very, very interesting to me. Because, of course, when we look at collection, it depends. Now, the collection that I am looking for, me personally, is just one of every card. But I've given up on alternate art cards, and it's not because I don't like the alternate art cards, it's because they're 2 per box, and that is either secret rares or alternate art. There are a bunch of them, it's too difficult. Similarly, promos, I told you about the Diaboromon promo a couple of days ago. These promos from the Tamer packs, or the tournament packs, they are too difficult to collect. If you just want one of each card, it's generally easy, but honestly, when you come round to the promos, especially the tournament packs, it is getting, well, not terribly easy, frankly, ladies and gentlemen. Not terribly easy at all. They ask us about the frequency of releases. Now, this is very interesting to me because I just want more Digimon releases. But it's also a weird question to ask at the moment because we had the first 3 Japanese sets that were combined down into Booster 1.0 and Booster 1.5 and released 1 month apart, which is definitely a little bit weird and won't be the case moving forward. So I find it interesting that they would ask this question, bearing in mind what they've done up till now is not what they're going to be doing moving forward. That's weird, right? I think it's a little bit weird. To put it simply, it's the worst possible time to ask this question, because they have been doing accelerated releases to try and catch us up. There is like the weirdest question, which is, do you think playmats for the Digimon card game should include a memory gauge? Obviously they should. Argue with me about this in the comment section, but come on. That seems pretty obvious, right? But then we get to the big question, the one that has got everyone's attention, the one that a bunch of people have sent to me up until now, and that is all about mulligans. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, mulligans. Mulligan, by the way, is where you essentially get to redraw your opening hand. And the question we've got here is, what are your thoughts on mulligans? Mulligans aren't necessary. I wish I could redraw my starting hand of 5 cards at the start of the game. I wish I could redraw a specific number of cards from my hand at the start of a game. I wish I could keep a level 3 Digimon but redraw the other cards in my starting hand at the start of a game. I wish I could either redraw my entire hand or keep a level 3 Digimon in my hand and redraw the other cards at the start of a game. Now this has led to a whole bunch of, I think, heated debate is probably about the nicest way to put it, over on the Facebook group about mulligans. And mulligans have been one of these things which have been coming up over and over and over again. I don't like mulligans, and I've been pretty clear about this. And the reason I don't like mulligans is because this is a game that does not need mulligans. And you can argue that whichever way you like, but as far as I'm concerned, it does not need mulligans. Because any opening hand can be played, with the very, very rare exception, especially if you look at how we make decks nowadays, if everybody does just draw an opening hand of just option cards, then they are unplayable. Remember, you've got to have a Digimon or a Tamer card in play of the appropriate color to play an option card. So you can technically have an unplayable hand, but it's extremely rare. Take something like my boy Sarasmon, yeah, fine. You might have to pay 12, but you can just hardcast it. If you don't have any level 3s in your opening hand, you can just hardcast a level 4, 5, 6, or maybe even 7. I say maybe because level 7s tend to be like 15 cost, so you might not have enough memory. Remember, there is a hard cap of 10 memory, so if I've only got 3 memory, I cannot play an Omnimon, because that would put it past 10 on my opponent's side, and that unfortunately wouldn't be an option. That would be a little bit rude. But generally speaking, I can just play these, and don't get me wrong, right? Obviously, having a level 3 in your opening hand is a huge advantage. You can Digivolve up from a level 2, a Digiegg, a Digitama, call it what you will, and then you get to draw a card and you get to go from there. I know having level 3s in your opening hand is great, but you don't need a level 3. If we take a look at the Pokemon trading card game, they do have mulligan rules, but they're not optional mulligans. They are mulligans for if you do not have a basic Pokemon. Because in the Pokemon trading card game, you cannot start the game if you don't have a basic Pokemon. So the mulligan rules are, if you don't have a basic Pokemon, you get to redraw your opening hand, but your opponent has the option to draw an extra card to begin their turn if they wish to. They don't have to, but they can start with an extra card if they want to. They've got deck out there like we got with Digimon, so you could just make a deck with like one basic Pokemon if mulligans were forced and try and deck out your opponent, which would be kind of hilarious, but not a fun way to play the game. So as far as I'm concerned, you don't need mulligans. And when it comes to level 3s, look, we all have bad opening hands. It happens. In every game where there is some element of luck with what you draw, there are going to be bad opening hands. But mulligans can act as a crutch for lazy or poor deck builders, because where you should be playing a bunch of 4-ofs, you play a bunch of 3-ofs, and then put in a bunch of tech cards, knowing that you can just mulligan and get a new starting hand and run from there. And I don't like that, frankly. I did make a video all about mulligans the other day. I will link it in the description. I think I've been quite clear about the fact I don't think mulligans are necessary, and I don't think they're good for the game. I think they just turn it into a little bit more of a... Well, okay, right, here's the thing. Mulligans don't really matter. I know that a bunch of players out there like to go, I lost because I drew a terrible opening hand. I lost because my opponent had a better opening than I did. Well, I hate to break it to you, if there are mulligans, you're going to lose to those same players. Because the good players are always going to adapt. Mulligans will not make bad players better and good players worse. Mulligans will make bad players bad and good players good. Mulligans will make bad deck builders bad and good deck builders good. I do think mulligans act as a little bit of a crutch for bad deck building, but by the same token, I also think that the best players will still make the best decks and will still pilot them better, and the people that are winning at the moment without mulligans will be the same people that are winning with mulligans in there. Now, there is one other question which we do need to have a little bit of a look at, and this is very interesting. If an online digital version of the game existed, where would you most want to play it? Click either's fine. Do not click not interested. I don't care if you aren't interested. Please, for the love of all that is good and holy, don't click not interested. The number one thing I want the most with this game is I want an online digital version. Could it happen? This is another question we're going to be looking at in the coming days and weeks. It is a question that is going to get a much bigger, larger video. But just for the moment, as a nice little aperitif, they've asked the question, answer with either's fine, answer with either's fine, answer with either's fine. The reason we need to click either's fine is because it may be they only want to do it on a PC, and if we click smartphone, they don't do it. It might be that they only want to do it on a smartphone, and if we click PC, they don't want to do it. If we make it as easy for them as possible to do, there is a chance they'll actually do it, and I want this so badly. Make it happen. Make it happen. There we go then. Pretty big news, right? They're thinking about putting mulligans in. They're thinking about doing online play. This is kind of awesome. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching Wasi Plays.